Welcome back, YouTube. Old Man Set This is back with another week in gaming news. Now, this week we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're actually going to be cutting out a few of the parts that Gamer Updates Jake Lucky did with Twitch CEO Dan Clancy. Now, I think that there are going to be a few things here that are worth kind of covering, and we can actually dive into what it actually means for people, what it could actually mean for people, and whether or not Dan is actually saying anything on any of these subjects. So buckle up, everybody. We're going to get to this. So the first thing we're going to go over is the new branded content update that Twitch tried to roll out and how much blowback they got for it as soon as everyone on the internet heard about it. So let's go ahead and see what Dan had to say when Jake asked him about this, shall we, everybody?
But cutting to the chase, you know, we got some harder questions given some recent Twitch updates that a lot of people have been very outspoken about. So when it comes to the branded content policy update that you guys had released now a couple weeks back and then had pulled it back after releasing it, can you go into some detail about what the thought process was?
Please go into this thought process, Dan, please.
I'm sure it wasn't a
let's hear it.
You know, a last second choice to just push it out. Probably a lot of time and effort went into it. And then why pull it back so immediately after public backlash? Can you just kind of...
Yeah. Interestingly, it's something that the discussions about it and reviewing the policy had actually happened a long time before it went out. It was before I was CEO. I was still obviously involved, but you know, literally a year to a year and a half was when we'd had the discussions, and then there was engineering work, and
no one cares about the engineering work.
In terms of what ended up going out and what we were intending, the two things weren't the same. Because in fact, what we're really focused on is what most people would call, the way I describe this is the focus was on most people would call advertising versus sponsorship. And the thing that was unfortunate about our mistake here is I think sponsorships is like incredibly strategic for Twitch and incredibly important, because for our streamers, they make a significant amount of revenue through sponsorships. And that is one reason that helps Twitch, because Twitch gives them relevance and Twitch helps them get these sponsorships. I won't go through the details of how it happened.
But why not, Dan?
There were some changes, and as we looked at the wording afterwards, it was clear that the wording that was released was not our intent. Our focus was more on advertising. I think the reaction was strong, and I understand why the reaction was strong.
But do you understand why the reaction was strong, Dan? The way that you all worded it was absolutely terrible. Now, just so we can all be 100% clear with one another right now, everyone out there in YouTube land, Twitch has made it very, very clear that they would like to actually do a little bit more work in the sponsorship space. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever heard of the Twitch Bounty Board, but this is actually one of the spaces that they've tried to utilize in the past for their sponsorships. Essentially, Twitch is making deals with games or different brands and offering the creators on the platform a way to make a little bit of extra money for X amount of time, as long as they have an X amount of viewers. Now, there's a not very well kept secret that Twitch doing this sponsorship service to help their streamers out, it's not really that good. They're actually criminally underpaying most of their creators when it comes to this. Now, what does this have to do with any of what we're talking about right now? I am under the impression, and I truly believe, that the reason Twitch put out this wording and didn't think they'd get much blowback for it was because they would like to actually get their hands on a lot of this money. They would probably prefer to be able to run a middleman kind of deal with these different sponsorship deals that streamers can get and subsequently take another swipe at the money. Now, the only reason this didn't get through is because everyone recognized it for what it was, and thankfully, there was a huge uproar on the internet. If there wasn't a huge uproar on the internet, I am firmly convinced that they also would have just kept cruising with this one. So where does that lead us to right now? Well, it seems that Twitch is going to pull it back. We've talked about it before on the show, and we know that they are kind of working on stuff right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if they still try to do this again as time moves on. They want to keep making money. A lot of their moves recently have been very indicative of them continuing to make more money. So if this is something that they can eventually alter a little bit more and basically get their hands on a lot more money, I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to do it. Not to mention that during this whole thing, we actually saw them slip in the MSA, the Monetized Streamer Agreement, which we have also talked about on this show. Now, I can only imagine, how did this look at Twitch? Oh my God, man. Oh my God. Oh my God. There's a huge blow up on Twitter right now. We better fucking do something about this goddamn sponsorship thing. Everyone's losing their mind and everyone thinks that we're definitely trying to screw them over. So what do we do from here? Do we pull it back? Do we start changing the words? Oh my God, the sky's falling. Everything's going on fire right now. Man, don't stress. Everything's gonna be fine. While these creators are definitely taking the bait right now on knowing that, you know, this whole sponsorship thing is definitely not gonna happen, we're just gonna, you know, slip in this monetized streamer agreement. And, you know, if we decide we want to do it, we can just change the rules at any point in time we want. So yeah, we can go ahead and pull back on that right now, but let's just go ahead and say that this thing's going to be ironclad within the next year and a half. Oh, so we don't really need to stress. We can actually just go ahead and run with this right now because we know we can just change it later on. Oh, absolutely. We only have to give them 30 days notice. And if we decide that we want to do this in the future anyway, we're just going to go ahead and do it. And if they don't sign on, well, I guess they're just not going to make any money now, are they? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go blow another line. I'll see you in a little bit. So what we're looking at here is them being able to change the rules later on down the line anyway. If they choose to decide that, hey, you know what, we really are gonna go with this sponsorship or ad structure that we initially released and everyone had a big issue with, and you've all signed your monetized streamer agreements, then hey, guess what? You have 30 days to start conforming to everything that we initially said, even though we said we were gonna pull it back. And if you don't, well, tough crap, you're not going to make any money right now.
There was some language that we should have had in there to clarify. It's always tricky whenever you describe something because you see something so often and you have something in your mind because that's what you're thinking. And then
yeah, what you're thinking is that you're trying to find a new and creative way to take more money from your broadcasters. You've been showing that time and time again. Looking at you, hype chats. Oh, streamer, I want to give you $500 to elevate my chat. Oh no, I'm only getting 350 of that money, and Twitch is taking another, what, 120 or 175 actually, because remember everybody, for hype chats, there's going to be a 5% service fee. So if you want to give a streamer $500, you're paying another $25 just to make it happen.
you read it and it's consistent with what you have in your mind. And so that's why we pulled it back so quickly, because the
No, once again, Dan, you pulled it back quickly because everyone on the internet blew the fuck up. They were not happy, rightfully so. I'm sorry, everyone. This corpo doublespeak crap that goes on with these guys just absolutely drives me insane, and I got no patience for it.
interpretation that was out there was not what we were targeting. And so we wanted to be just clear, surgical, to the point, and pull it back right away.
So, truth be told, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if this is going to come back. We don't know if they're actually actively working on it or if they're just letting the fire die down before they decide to just go ahead and implement it regardless. So we will see as time marches on and whether or not this is all true. I, being a cynic, do not believe that it is. The next big topic that I find very, very interesting in this interview is them talking about the multi or simulcasting that Twitch decided to pretty much do away with for anybody on the platform. Now, a really quick reminder, it doesn't matter if you're a partner, an affiliate, or someone who's just streaming on Twitch. You are technically not allowed to stream to any other major streaming platform, including Kick, YouTube, Facebook, anything like that. However, you still can multicast to TikTok and Instagram, but the major players, as that would be considered, are the ones that you cannot touch. So let's go ahead and see what Dan has to say here, yeah?
So branded content policy, everyone had their words on. I think multicasting and simulcasting is the next hot topic, as we've seen so many creators asking why Twitch is not willing to walk that back and allow simulcasting. Can you speak more as to why Twitch is not going to let streamers do that?
Yeah, so first of all, let me go, because sometimes we'll take that simulcasting in isolation of where the decision that was made in. So
what does that mean, Dan? What does it mean?
It used to be that our partner contracts had an exclusivity clause in them.
Yeah, they did. We know that.
And I don't know how much you know about that, Jake, but
I'm willing to bet Jake probably knew exactly what was going on with that, everybody, because Jake has actually been a streamer, and I have no doubt he's probably talked to a lot of the people around him, and he's not going to try to feed into whatever the hell Dan's trying to do with the corpo bait speak.
But our partner contract was such that it has an exclusivity clause, and the partner contracts were for a year. Okay. And we took that out of the partner contract. And I was the one who pushed hard on that because I did not feel like exclusivity was the right way to approach the market.
But what this actually affects is only TikTok and Instagram. It doesn't actually affect any other major players on the platform, even when they did this last year. So What they're saying is you can stream to places that don't feel like competition to us, but if you want to stream to places that do, tough shit.
It limited our streamers in terms of what they can do. Now, we had always had a simulcasting provision in the affiliate agreement. But in the partner agreement, since they precluded from ever streaming on another platform, then you didn't even talk about simulcasting. So we pulled back, we eliminated exclusivity because we thought that was the right thing for our streamers.
Here's a crumb.
And then we
you, sir.
Further, when we talked about the simulcasting provision that had always been there, we were explicit about TikTok and Instagram and other mobile platforms that it wasn't a problem. I think it's one of these things that I think we always need to look at it to see in the end what's the right thing for the community. I do think there's a lot of value in having people focus on their community on Twitch.
So long story short, everyone, I'm just going to go ahead and take all the blah, blah, corpo speak out of the equation here and basically get down to what seems to be the brass tacks. Now, Dan is trying to say that Twitch provides you the best place to build a community, and there are a lot of people who seem to believe that because a lot of us here all probably know that Twitch is an awesome place because of the community. People come to watch the platform, people come to find new broadcasters occasionally, not as often as you would like, but it is a really nice user experience. People love talking with one another, they love talking to the streamer, and ultimately what this comes down to is Twitch thinking, I believe, that they have the best place to actually do this. Now, the big thing with all of this that drives me absolutely mad and so many other people mad is Twitch has in the past said you need to go grow your brand other places and bring them to Twitch. So what is the point here? What if people were allowed to multi or simulcast to any and or all of the different competitors to Twitch and actually try to draw those people over? Wouldn't this make more sense? Wouldn't this be something that just serves to benefit Twitch in the long run, considering their moves to try and make more money recently? You need to let us decide whether or not we can handle doing multiple platforms at once. And if we can, it will only serve to benefit everyone involved. Why do they do this? I have no idea, everyone, but holy shit, is it seem to be the most counterproductive stuff I have ever seen in my life. At any rate, it is a big deal. Right now, again, most people who stream, all people who stream really on Twitch, can't really go to any of the major competitors, and they are still expecting everyone to continue to grow their product, even though they're basically sequestering us to only one platform. So why is Twitch strangling their creators? I honestly think they're a little bit afraid, and I honestly think that they believe that they won't be able to get a bigger stranglehold on the market this way if they say, hey, we got all the best creators on our spot, so we don't have to worry about anyone else ever competing with us. So the next big subject that we're going to cover, outside of all the fluff that this interview basically encompassed, unfortunately, because Jake was asking good questions and Dan was having a hard time actually articulating anything, is the Partner Plus program. So let's go ahead and listen to these guys, see what they have to say, and then I'm going to go ahead and comment on it afterwards.
We're talking about the Twitch Partner Plus program.
Yep.
And so this is essentially giving back the 70-30 split to streamers, kind of, in a sense.
Yes.
I think a lot of people took this.
Everyone, please note that is a major kind of, because this is a huge issue going on right now with everyone who streams on Twitch.
Update, and they kind of analyzed it. I know Streams Charts and others have had their take on this about maybe a minuscule percentage of actual partnered streamers that this update does impact. So what was the thought process behind
such an
understatement as giving the 70-30 back?
Yeah, the interesting thing is if you place this in context, if you go back to the earlier decision, right, in the earlier announcement in terms of Premium EULA. So first, let me answer the question you just asked, okay? Roughly, in terms of
we're finally getting an answer,
that are either in what was previously called the Premium EULA program, the premium program, or in this new program, it's about 15% of partners are in one of those two buckets.
That is unequivocally false. Unfortunately, Dan is definitely talking out of his rear right now, because there are already numbers on the internet that state that only 2.3% of the current partner landscape on Twitch are actually going to be able to get into this. And there are not 15% of partners that are currently on the premium program. This information is trash.
Okay, so that gives you a rough sense in terms of how many streamers are benefiting from that. If you go back in time, the old program was something where we weren't public about the criteria.
True.
Okay. We didn't actually have a rigid criteria. It was, well, you could ask for it.
May I please have
and I
more
think
money?
That was always a challenge, and we weren't transparent about a lot of it.
Saying they weren't transparent about it has got to be, oh my God, the understatements of the years that are coming out of this goddamn interview, everybody. I'm just like over here wanting to actually blow my top. This is insane.
We've said we actually had stopped offering those deals about a year and a half before the announcement.
True.
Okay. And in fact, some streamers knew that. They knew, oh yeah, I asked, and we said, and so, but we had never come out and told people that. So the interesting thing is when I made that announcement, 9 months ago, really what I was doing was announcing something that had happened a year and a half before.
Yay, transparency. Thanks, guys.
So when we started with this program, part of this was trying to come up with something that we felt like could benefit those streamers that are, they've probably gone full time. They're trying to make their life as a creator.
Probably.
We have a certain amount of resources. I fully appreciate that there are a lot of streamers out there that are working very hard, and that in fact I understand completely that streamers would like us to be able to provide 70/30 more broadly. This is a start, is the way I describe it. The criteria we tried to make it lower than what it had previously been on the earlier program.
True.
And so part of this idea was trying to extend this benefit in a structured manner so that people knew exactly what the criteria was. And then right when they qualified, they got the money right away.
So here we go, everyone. I'm going to just go ahead and explain this all to you in really quick Cliff's Notes, and then I'm going to give you my opinion about it because that's why you are here. The Partner Plus program is easier to hit than the previous, like whatever they called it, premium program that was definitely a hush-hush thing before. You currently need to have 350 reoccurring subs. That means people who are paying every month. They're signed up with a credit card or they're signed up through PayPal or something like that. And if you are able to carry those 350 for 3 months, you will be entered into this program for 70/30. Now, to talk more about what Dan is saying right here, there might be, and I doubt this is the case, I'm still on team that is absolute fallacy. The 15% of partners are currently on some kind of premium deal. There's no possible way, because as of right now, and this moment, currently, right around 2.3% of current partners even qualify for this new Partner Plus program. Dan is trying to say that, oh yeah, we're actually offering this now, and it shouldn't be that difficult maybe for people to hit. That is just simply not true. The lion's share of the creators on the platform are actually making most of their money from people who are so generous as to give subs in their channel. If they actually included those gift subs, maybe a bigger goal like 1,000 subs, who knows? Maybe this would make more sense. But the barrier of entry to get into this Partner Plus program currently is really, really difficult. Again, it's not that simple. It's not like we're living in easy times right now either, where a lot of people have liquid income that they can just spend on streamers. I'm just very frustrated, and a lot of people are very frustrated with the relative flippancy that basically the higher ups at Twitch are approaching this entire subject. I know that more people want to make more money, and other places are offering more money. YouTube has a better split, Kick has a better split, most places do, and Twitch continues to justify all this by just saying, well, you have a goal now, go ahead and try to hit it, and we can give you more money. That means you're actually being successful, instead of actually giving people the tools to run away with it right away. I hate saying this, and I hate repeating myself over and over and over, but I think that one of the reasons this came out over the last month or two, they may have been working on it. I feel like it may have been something that was kind of still in development and they didn't necessarily want to push out yet. But with the mass exodus of a lot of folks over to Kick, them being repeatedly showing how much money they're going to give other creators, YouTube doing the same thing, this feels like a little bit of a breakneck response to a lot of the drama that's been going on lately. And I don't know if this is something that they know that they don't have any competition, then this is something they can just take right back. They may want to actually offer it to more people. Who knows how that's going to look? It could be an inclusion of gift subs to a certain number. It could just be a lowering of the threshold for recurring subs that they want from someone to actually hit it. But it is such a nebulous thing right now that it feels like Twitch is just trying to tread water and keep their head up before they actually drown under the pressure of these other platforms, potentially. All of these moves are making it a more hostile environment for most creators to actually be able to do it. So time will tell, and honestly, when it comes to this interview that Jake put on with Dan, it doesn't really feel like Dan said a whole lot. And it's incredibly frustrating to a lot of people in the community, and it should be frustrating to a lot of the folks who consume Twitch, because it's going to potentially drive the people that they know and love away from the platform, and they won't have the spaces that they enjoy anymore. So, what do y'all think? Do you think Twitch is just trying to tread water, like I said? Do you think they're actually trying to make things happen for the betterment? I would like to think that they are, but I think that most of their creators have been burned far too much to actually believe that this could be something that they're really willing to try and work out as time goes on. Tell me what you all think down in the comments. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I'd love to hear what everyone has to say. This is an incredibly hot button topic. This is something that has been going on now for a really long time, and I feel like it affects every content creator out there that ever gets close to Twitch. It could even affect other content creators other places as well, whether it be Kick or YouTube. We're all trying to make our way, and when one precedent is set somewhere, it could actually transfer over to others. Next week, we're going to be checking out the interview with Kick CEO Eddie. So if you all enjoyed this one, make sure that, again, you like and subscribe. Come back for next week, because that one's going to be a lot of fun, in my opinion. Thanks, everyone, again, for checking this out. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Thank you, everyone, for coming out, and I'll see you next week.